Good morning, I'm Ms. Deline, and I'm here to bring you your almost daily oracle card. And today's card is Against the Grain. You want birds to be able to fly underwater. You want love to trump power. You want humanity to relate to each other as equals and to recognize the sacredness in you and the world around you. You want to unleash the beauty that hides in even the ugliest of scenes or sentiments. You want to make possible what others say cannot be. You are a radical dreamer, a sacred rebel, and you bring the light of a more positive future to this world. However, this can have its burdens. Deep within, you may feel that you don't really fit in with the rest of the world. Perhaps your sense of how things can be and how they really are is so different to the smaller minds or more fearful hearts of many others that you are rarely received for all that you have to offer. This might make you feel frustrated, thwarted, or lonely at times. The universe so loves you for your unusual take on things, for the quirkiness in you that dares to honor that which is different and renders the impossible possible. You must never ever lose your unusual ways and become dry, serious, appropriate, and conventional. Not even for appearance's sake, for you would lose your essence. Excuse me. Frog in my throat. You are here to show that life is about so much more than conventional success. This oracle comes with a special message for you. You are someone who lives and breathes in the depths of creative waters. You need to lose yourself to the flow of music, nature, dreams, imagination, and fantasy through art and literature, meditation, dance, and in sensual surrender to the sacred waters of the ocean, the river, the lake, or the bathtub. You must go against the grain. It is just your way. You are not one of the followers, but one of the agitators. However, yours is not a force of disrespectful chaos. You are a loving catalyst, and by simply being yourself, you constantly remind people that there is always another way. This oracle comes with the particular guidance that you are meant to be exactly as you are. You are meant to be the black sheep, the rainbow sheep, or even the wild wolf in the flock of sheep. The daring butterfly spirit calling to the caterpillars. That is you. The price you pay for the gift of individuality is that you must take care of it and guard it so that you are not dulled down and conditioned into playing at being something you are not. If this has happened or is threatening to happen, this oracle brings you comfort. You will always dream of birds that fly underwater. You know that the true nature of your being can never be changed. At most, it could only be hidden. For a time. Now is the time to accept who you are and allow your truths to be freely expressed. Don't worry about the effects of going against the grain. When we are who we are in truth, we attract the support, protection, and energy that we need to thrive. Your power comes from aligning your outward self with your inner truth, not with the general consensus. You will then find other dreamers, other wild butterflies, and atypically colored sheep to join you in conjuring better visions of our world. What a great card. And I don't know about you, but this card spoke to me more than any I've read so far. And I'd like to invite you to accept me as an example of going against the grain. So I was a blonde baby born into a brunette family. And from the beginning, I was always different. I was the one who drew all the time, and my parents were just like scratching their head, like, "What are you doing?" You know, I loved music. I loved dance. I have to say, my mom listened to the radio. She did listen to music during the day, but I was always different from my family. And as a child, I thought that, I was left here by aliens, Or, well, my first thought was I was switched at birth. And then I thought, well, I must have been left here by aliens because I was really weird. I can remember in fourth grade thinking I must be a witch and trying to cast spells with my telepathic powers. And then as I grew up, there were times when I was forced into a box, and I actually had a hard day yesterday because a bunch of memories came back to me about a time when I was married to someone who absolutely did not accept that I was a rainbow sheep, right? I love that term, by the way. And I tried to be what he needed me to be, that superwoman who worked and kept house and cooked dinner and raised the children and all that. And but I couldn't do it. I was a belly dancer, and that really, even though he knew me, that's how he met me, was through the dance, through a friend of a friend, right? He wanted me to quit belly dancing because that was just not, traditional, acceptable, or whatever. I could go on. But anyway, those memories came back to me of what it felt like to have my light dimmed, right, by somebody else. I allowed that, of course. I allowed my light to be dimmed. It didn't feel good. Did not feel good at all. So I was only married less than 5 years, and I was starting to feel trapped, and it was awful. I've had my heart broken. This was worse. Okay. So anyway, I came out of that, and I spent a few years single and going within and becoming the empowered person that I'm meant to be, right? And writing, and of course dancing, and just expressing who I am. That being said, I still always felt like I was on the outside looking in, and always had that longing to have family, having a family that loved me and that was nurturing. And I I always felt like I was on the outside looking in, whether it was a group or what. And then one day something, switched, and I realized, I started meeting people that supported who I was, and I started to realize that there were people that were looking at me that wished they were on the outside with me, right? There, we all have our that part of us that thinks the grass is greener on the other side. But anyway, so because I'm a rebel, and this is the Sacred Rebel guidebook deck that I'm pulling from, because I'm a rebel, because I go against the grain, because I take the road less traveled, I have had some freaking amazing adventures in my life. I have met amazing people. I have an international community of belly dancers that anywhere I go, I can be, I can find belly dance sisters, and belly dancers go against the grain, right? And so we already we have something in common right there. Then there's my spiritual world, and I'm a Reiki master, and the things that I've experienced through that are phenomenal and amazing, and truly some spectacular things have happened. And so by going against the grain, by just being who I am, and dancing and doing healing work and doing art and creating beautiful events for people to come to that enrich them and fill them up and nurture their souls, right? I am an example for other people. No one has ever spit on me, or I've had a couple of people, Christians, question what I do, and when I explain to them, where it comes from, they're like, well, I get it. You're talking, they resonate with what I'm talking about. If they're if they truly are Christians and in touch with the loving aspect of Christianity, which is what I feel true Christianity is. But anyway, that's, my own belief. And so by being me, and by getting over my fear of expressing who I am, by wearing what I want to wear, which is comfort, not fashion. I can't tell you how many people have said, "Where do you get your clothes?" For a long time, I only wore tie-dye, and I once went to an Akashic record. I learned how to read Akashic records on the Big Island of Hawaii, and this lady says, "I just I wasn't like you. I couldn't afford to buy, nice clothes to come on this trip." And I just looked at her and went, "What are you talking about?" She goes, "Well, your dresses and everything, they're just so beautiful." And I said, "This is what I wear every day." And so anyway, I lived in a tiny town of less than 7,000 people, and I had a business, and my neighboring business ladies, she called me Berkeley because, that was her, idea of where I must have gotten my wild ideas, even though, I'd never been to Berkeley. But anyway, she dressed up like me for Halloween. So instead of being a pariah for being different, people were drawn to me. People were interested in what I had to say and what I had to offer, and they loved that, because I think there's something inside of all of us that wants to just express our own personal essence, but we're afraid to often, in the world, that we're afraid that we'll be taken wrong, or that we'll be made fun of, or that something uncomfortable will happen to us, and maybe it will, but 99% of the time it won't. As you allow your weirdness to come out, I call it weirdness. I've heard the term flying your freak flag, right? As you fly your freak flag, let your wild weirdness come out. You bring more light into the world, and that's what the world needs. The world needs your light, and your light is being who you are and being an example to others that it's okay to be who they are. Okay? Fly that freak flag, wave that weirdness into the world, because each of us is unique and special and different just the way we are. And the world needs us to be who we are, not who we think we should be. Love you all. Fly that flag.